Equipment troubleshooting is probably the most innovative and useful features of the iManifold product, and it only requires a couple steps to use it, and I think it's probably something you're going to get a lot of use out of once you understand how it works. So in order to use equipment troubleshooting, the first thing we have to do is profile the system. So if you haven't watched the short clip on how to profile, that's the one you need to watch before you watch any further in this video. After the system is profiled, the next step is to just simply slide over to the left and select equipment troubleshooting. It can be turned on or off. Right now it's off. I'm going to just tap the button. It'll turn it to on. You can slide the indicator left or right with your finger. It'll slide on or off, or you can simply just tap it, and if you tap it, it'll flip the switch to on or off. Now, it doesn't look like anything exciting has happened there because the system is actually operating exactly the way it should. If I do the next step, which is I'm going to go into my user inputs and change the pressure reading, and realize now that if I was on a live system, gauge pressures would be changing automatically. But I'm going to go ahead and change that from 350 pounds to 375 pounds of pressure. So I'm raising my head pressure. Now when I raise my head pressure up, let's watch what happens. Hit submit. You can see my pressure is going to climb here, and at the same time my pressure climbed, two things happened. My pressure went up, and because my pressure went up, my saturation temperature went up, which drove down my subcooling. So my subcooling went from a target value of about 16 down to an actual of 21 degrees. Now in the center here, it's indicated there's a problem because the iManifold saw that the pressure went outside of range and the subcooling went outside of range. If I tap the center icon, the flashing caution indicator, you can see that the iManifold is telling us that the system is exhibiting symptoms of a refrigerant overcharge. Now, again, this is a TXV system, so it's exactly what we'd expect to see. Normal suction pressure, normal superheat, but we have high head pressure and high subcooling. Now, there's two ways we can use the troubleshooting on the system. If you tap just the high pressure, it'll tell you what causes high liquid pressure or high discharge pressure. Hit continue to close it, or tap the subcooling. It'll tell you what causes high subcooling on its own. But in this case right here, it's telling you that it's seeing that it's overcharged. The reason that it's showing an overcharge is because of the four variables. So if we tap refrigerant overcharge, it'll tell us then what the diagnosis is. So in this case, it's overcharged. Here's what the symptoms include. Here's what the operational characteristics are of an overcharge, and here's what we recommend that you do. Once you correct the overcharge situation, in this case, we'll just take the pressure back down to normal in the user inputs mode. And again, if this was on your iManifold and you're connected live, it would be streaming. We'll take this back down to 350. I'll hit submit. And that problem, you'll see, will go away. All right, so the iManifold will troubleshoot about 21 different problems. It'll walk you through a lot of different variables. Some of them are what we call super problems, and a super problem means like airflow. Until you get airflow corrected, it will not allow you to go any further, because airflow is the key to proper system operation. Or things like liquid line below ambient temperature. That might mean you have a plug dryer or a dirty or plug dryer or a wet condenser. So those are things that we want to make sure that we get corrected before we go on and try and correct things like a charge problem. And those super problems are ones that will pop up automatically in the troubleshooting mode, and you'll correct those first, and then it'll allow you to go deeper into the troubleshooting of the system.